Mr. Yuan, what do you make of the speech delivered by Chinese President Xi Jinping in Seattle, the very first for his state visit? He talked about stock market, he talked about Chinese government's policies, he also talked about the RMB. How important are these issues to the American audience? Is he really addressing the most important ones?
Yeah, I think President Xi delivered a very good speech the first time to the American public audience when his the state visit to the United States. And this is maybe the only one, this good opportunity for so many audience facing to President Xi. And the good thing is that for me to see is that Xi just touched to all those issues that Americans concerns. For example, the slowdown of Chinese economy, the turmoil of Chinese recent stock market, and RMB exchange rates, and also cybersecurity issue, and the Chinese under corruption and rule of law, lots of issues. So this is very transparent, very direct, to the point. And secondly, I think he has done a very good job that, for example, take an stock market issue as an example. He first of all admitted that Chinese government do make some efforts to manage the stability of the markets. And then he said that after Chinese maneuver, now the market back to the normal and no big worry in the future. And to the RMB valuation issue, he also reassured the American audience that we are still market-driven.
I see. But Dr. Li, addressing the issue is one thing. Whether the reasoning, the logics, and the results are necessarily going to be totally accepted by the other side is another thing, Dr. Li.
Well, I was in the dinner, and also I had the opportunity to meet with President Xi and shake hands with him. And
Good for you.
After the dinner, I also went to several parties by many institutions or companies. The reaction is overwhelmingly positive. They really like that speech, and they think it's not only comprehensive, address all the issues, it's quite personal, and also link the Chinese tradition and the China's history and what China went through, including poverty, the time he grew up, with Mark Twain, with other American celebrities, the quotes. So it's resonated so well among the audience. But most importantly, his emphasis on economic cooperation. So that audience with more than 700 people really resonated very well. So he did tremendously well in his first day in Seattle.
But how long will the message go? I mean, and how far will the message go, Mr. Yuan?
I think his message will go very far because, first of all, he touched all those major concerns from the American audience. And secondly, he's very frank, very direct to deliver his real thinking. Because recent days, many media exaggerating the contradiction and problems in front of U.S. and China relations. The first time the audience has the chance to hear directly from Chinese new leader to say by himself what's thinking, what he's doing, what he's preparing to do in the future. I think his statement on cybersecurity, on economic, on our political reform, I think should be a very good reassurance work.
Dr. Li, there has been a lot of debate going on in China. You know better probably than many of the other Americans that whether to proceed with reform with certain speed, how to deal with the challenges, and certainly the Chinese President Xi Jinping in his speech was also tackling some of these issues. Are they convincing to you?
The so-called new norm is actually wanted to change the economic structure. The previous model, which export-led with cheap labor, came to an end. So therefore, China should promote consumption, private sector, service sector. It may take some time. And so the adjustment and also the environmental concern will make China's GDP growth not that high. This is actually what China wants. But of course, China is concerned about the international reaction, whether if GDP number percentage go to like below 6, there will be international reaction. But on the other hand, I mean, 6 or 7% is still very high number. And also the important thing is China's employment rate is not that bad, especially college graduates. So therefore, I think he sent a very clear message that China want to fix its own problem, and China still one of the largest market in the world. And China's economic policy emphasizes financial liberalization, market reform is on the way. Yes, the speed may be not as fast as someone hope, but again, we need to fix all the problems.
The question is whether the two sides will be able to make some important agreements when President Xi is going to Washington, D.C. About trade and economic ties. Of course, BIT is one of the biggest issues that's hanging over there. There's also cooperation about cybersecurity in terms of economic and trade field, and some of the other issues. Did he touch on this? How much hint do you think from his speech is giving us about possible deals and possible fields of cooperation likely to pin down this time, Dr. Li?
Well, in the logistic area, of course, it takes some time, and also open up the IT market in China will be seeing a big challenge. There's a lot of details need to work out. But the important thing is he's willing to address this issue, and he's happy to meet with foreign companies, and including IT companies. Of course, that it will take some time. It will be not just a one-way street. And I think but the important thing is, as a top leader, he is willing to listen and also wanted to open gradually the China's market. That means maybe in certain areas, and at the same time, and the foreign companies should also have better understanding what they can do and cannot do in the country. But the most important thing is, again, it's China's interest and it's foreign companies' interest to make this kind of market access to be a reality. It should be win-win, not a zero-sum game.